Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode. Hey, good evening. So we're doing a rare weeknight recording. And I say rare because it's not top of radar right now. 7 months into ownership, and I'm not working in the studio as much, or on the studio as much. And yeah, so some things I'm noticing in general. I've had a bundle of emails come in from corporate. For better or worse, we have just a really weird email server. It's not like Gmail or Outlook or anything. It's this random, really obscure email platform, which just doesn't make sense. And something I'm learning, in general, if you don't know what to pick, go with a top 5 enterprise options. Unless there's a need to get something niche specific, go with something that's very broadly accepted. For one, it's going to be easier for your team to work with because they've probably worked with it before. Second, when it interacts with other platforms, they're going to be able to connect to it. And thirdly, you're not going to have weird tech support issues. So right now, when we have an issue, we have to talk to an obscure tech team for an obscure company that has obscure skill sets, and there's just not this broad array of knowledge. So, broad example, for like when I bought a domain, like I own my domain, and I bought it from Google, and Google is my platform, Google does my storage, Google is my Gmail, and everything is just Google. Now, personally, I'm an Apple guy. I really like Mac. It's just a lot more intuitive. So I like to have everything default in Apple. But when it comes to platforms like Slides, Word, Excel, email administration, like Google is just good. And so if I have an issue, I can now contact Google, and they're going to have a million YouTube videos, resources. And with this other obscure vendor, like I've got nothing. Like there's nothing. And if you need help or support, there's just nothing out there. So I just have universally accepted systems, and for better or worse, go with something that's big and large and clunky, because likely that works pretty dang well. When it comes to tech, all that to say, we're going to pivot there. So going through my emails from corporate, finally got a handful of them. The franchisor, not just like for my brand, but the parent company, they're now asking like, hey, we're asking franchisees to start sharing profit and loss. They automatically can see revenue, but they're asking to see monthly profit and loss, so that if someone's doing something really well or something is just out of KPI, they can now start assessing how they can help that franchisee. And I don't know about that. Part of it I can see because I worked at a corporate franchise for a health company, and we saw everyone's revenue. We couldn't see their profit and loss, and it was only through the grapevine to hear like who was doing well profit-wise. So I can see a benefit of it. At the end of the day, like I'm a small biz. Like there's no benefit unless someone is doing something really cutting edge or futuristic. I don't benefit by spending the extra time and hassle to forward my financials to franchisor. That doesn't make sense. If anything, that seems to be a benefit to them, and it does nothing for me. And it's going to cost me money and cost me man hours and administrative overhead to give someone else more information about myself. And so I don't see the benefit to it. I just don't. And so I'm not sure how that's going to continue on, but also had to check in with the team. The challenge is looking fine. We're above the rest of the pack, but we also have a very high ad spend when it comes to our marketing size. I think I've spent $18,000 through the marketing agency that I'm working with, and they're giving me great results. Don't get me wrong, but I'm also noticing, I saw a video today for someone who advises social media marketing companies and someone who deals with a lot of clients. And he said, don't ever hire part-time. Don't ever hire part-time. You hire part-time people, you get part-time results. And he didn't mean like you get 20 hours worth of work out of them. Like you hire for 20 hours and you get like 5 hours worth of work, because they also have their weekly meetings. They're going to have their own like organization and like self-tracking. They're going to have a lot of like fixed costs of being an employee, but they're not going to have as much value add. And plus, like for people that are doing like something on the side, they're going to give their full focus to something else. And so unfortunately that's true. I'm currently working with my third my third sales rep out of 7 months of ownership. The first guy was a legend. He was solid, 10 years in the industry. He sold all sorts of things. Very good. And he's the classic, very good sales rep. So he gets headhunted away to make sales rep money. And that sucks. Additionally, like I went with an agency to help do some of my, do my sales appointment setting, make sure folks show up to meetings. She was in another country though. And so unfortunately it was just too much of a logistical difficulty. And so that was frustrating. She put in the hours. She did the work. She doesn't have the context for how we operate. So that was for one. Currently, I'm not now a local rep. He's in the area. He understands the industry. He's part-time though, and he works full-time another job related to fitness and like group fitness stuff. But unfortunately, he's part-time, and so I'll be bringing it up with him tomorrow. But like what's a good example? So like each week, my first sales rep would dial probably each lead twice. And so he was dialing, 40, 50 dials a day. It was his full-time gig. The VA that I hired, like this was her full-time gig. She was dialing like 20 people an hour. Like she was doing 100 dials she was double dialing. So it's kind of a fake number, but she was doing 140 dials for a 5-hour shift. So she was dialing 70 leads per 5 hours. And for those who don't know, that's incredible. That is a go-getter hustler. And my current rep, he's dialing like 7 people a week, or 7 people a day. I'd have to recheck it. I think it's like 5 to 7 people a day. And so he's working half the hours of my main guy, but he's doing like a 10th of the work ethic. And so, unfortunately, like that's the thing of like, well, you for the YouTube video I saw, like you hire part-time, you get part of part-time when it comes to coverage. And so staffing is just tough. And it's tough not because like employers, it's not tough because like there's no one in the market, no one has work ethic, and maybe that's part of it. But like I'm paying my people, my instructors are making $10, $15, $20 an hour, and they're a standard member. My manager is making like market rate for being a gym studio manager, and folks that are really good at that, they can go do something else and make more money. My sales rep, you can make 80 grand, 150 grand at a car dealership, and you work you work good hours. You could work at a gym, and if you're like I think franchises, there people make like 50 to 90 if they're a full-time sales rep and they're crushing quota. So if you're a killer when it comes to making sales at a gym, you can work family-friendly hours, build a career working at a car dealership, and make double the money. And so there's this weird small biz bottleneck where who's going to do the sales? It's the most valuable role, but yet you have a budget. It's not really do it. And so hiring a VA makes sense budget-wise, but skill set-wise, who's got that? And so that's something I'm struggling with right now. So I'll be bringing it up tomorrow with them. Saw the numbers and not thrilled. And so just accountability is something I need to be better at. Holding people accountable, saying, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's the hours per week. That means this has to be the thing. It has to be doing this much volume, and we gotta step it up a notch. And so it's not like a last warning kind of thing. It's just like, hey, get your bike in gear. Let's get moving. Come on, let's go. And then just move on from there. So that's where we're at. That's where we're going. Holding people accountable and just learning. Full time is best time, and that's the way to go with it. So I don't know. The game never ends. I lost a staff member. He's going to stay with us. Very, very good guy. Bummed about that. But also gained a staff member. So we'll be doing interviews to make sure they're locked in. And so still trying to figure out how to monetize this whole thing. The studio is not doing as well as I wanted. How am I going to monetize to keep the studio doors open? Because I got a personal guarantee on everything. I have a few ideas. And it's tricky to not start looking at quick buck alternatives. I truly don't know. If I had God's eye view on this, should I be investing in better staff? Should I be investing in hardcore better members? Should I just do a blitz and make something completely brand new and sell like $2,000 packages? Should I be trying to monetize this podcast better? Should I be doing a speaking gigs? Should I be going for a raise at my day job? Like, where's the extra dough going to come from? And I don't want to pull from my personal checking and savings. I really don't. But if I have to, then I will. Backstop from there is my 401k, my wife's 401k. But that's not a permanent solution. That's not a long-term solution. That makes sense if it's a bridge solution. I can't just pull out my retirement funds and not fix the root problem, which is the studio losing money. And so I don't know. I don't know how to bridge that gap. What's the permanent solution? And let's throw out a random idea. So let's say I go on a speaking gig and I can make 10 grand a month speaking about small business due diligence. Let's pretend 10 grand a month from that. I do it on the weekends only. And then now magically that's enough to cover the losses of the studio and the studio can stay alive. And then the speaking could go big. Like it could be more than that. That's cool. So that's one option. I could do marketing. I've seen what the agency does. I could do my own marketing thing. I could do marketing for other businesses, other industries to plug this gap. Like that's cool too. I could get a promotion at work. And so now that can cover it. But the promotion needed to cover $7,000 a month in losses. I'm not going to get $100,000 raise at work. I'd have to get a huge promotion to a new role. And then all of that money goes straight into feeding a struggling business. And so something's got to happen. We got a few pins in the fire on how else to make this all roll together. I don't quite know what that answer is right now. If nothing else, I've got not a keynote speech. I got a speech to deliver in 3 or 4 weeks for a business group, working with a coach on how to pitch that well. And hopefully you can tell my voice. I'm not stressed. I'm just more puzzled right now. I know where I'm stuck. I see some options to get to a final outcome, but I don't know how I'm going to get more water into the boat to prevent it from sinking. And I don't know how I'm going to plug the hole. Like, do I plug the hole or do I put in more? It's a sinking boat. So do I bail water out faster than it rushes in, so that I can keep it afloat, or do I plug the hole so we can stay flat? I don't know. I'm chronicling this because I want to come back and realize, it turned out fine, and I'm not going to stress it. And okay, a call just came through. I thought I was going to kill the voice memo, but I don't know. And I want to remember it today. I'm not going to be stressed about it because stress at the moment is not going to fix the story of the present and the future. So I'm just going to enjoy the evening, hang out with a friend. We're just going to catch up on life and all that fun stuff. So yeah, learning to hold people accountable. Full-time is 5 times better than part-time. And we'll see how this all pans out. Some pans in the fire. That's where we're at. That's where we're going. Let's rock and roll. This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.